Hello everybody, welcome to another Atomtron Reviews. I just remembered that I forgot to do the size comparison for the core class figures. They're all basically the same size, so I'm going to use Skywarp here. Skywarp scales with, let's get a more modern size, with Drag Strip, the deluxe, like so. Blaster, and Laser Optimus Prime. So, with that out of the way, let's get to the actual review. Laser Optimus Prime. I'm going to review Laser Optimus Prime in this video, or G2 Optimus Prime, and overall though, I do really like this figure, but he is not my favorite out of the entire wave of the first wave of Legacy figures. I think he's the best, leader, or is it Voyager? I'm not sure. I think he is the best in this size class, however. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about the trailer first, because I'm not a big fan of the trailer. I'm not a fan of either of the trailers that Earthrise/Kingdom Prime came with, and I'm also not a fan of this one, although I do think this one does the best out of the two. So, I was already transforming it before I talked about it. So what you'll want to do to open it is lift this section and then fold down these two side panels and twist this around. You can then twist this around. I then twist the front of the canister around, lift the gun, and twist it around. There's also a panel on the front that can fold down. So this is how I like to display my, battle station mode. I'm not a fan of it. I'm happy that they're actually doing something with it, though. I do store my weapons in here. I'm not a fan of these weapons. I'll get to that later. But he does have this axe that can store with these two pegs here going into these two slots here. And this sword, which is bent right out of the box, that uses these two pegs here to peg into these two pegs here. There we go. So they'll store like that. And they do store pretty well. I'll give it that. So, with that out of the way, let's get it back into its main form. Again, I don't have much to say about this other than the fact that I don't like this mode. If it was just one solid piece that maybe, sure, it opened up to do weapon storage, I'd be fine with it. And I still am overall, but I am not a big fan of it. This does come off, but you can give it to the Optimus, so that way he can use it as gun. Sorry, I got a hiccup right there. So, let's get this completely back into its oil tank mode. And it looks really good in this mode. I will give it that. I like this version. I like this tanker mode-ish thing. It's my favorite looking trailer. Just don't like any of the trailers. So, Optimus Prime here. Optimus Prime is a pretty iconic figure, I'd say. I think everyone knows who he is, but maybe not this specific version. I believe this is G2 Optimus. not completely sure about that. Don't really care about that. It's just a really cool design in my opinion, so I got it. I was probably just gonna get it anyway, so I have no connection to this figure whatsoever, other than the fact that I like it. Blah. I know what he looks like, so I do think that this does look pretty accurate. I like the design and all of that. The head sculpt is amazing. Eyes are a little dead, but I mean, I'm fine with it. He's just going to be on a shelf, so I'm not too particular about if he has life in it. I'd prefer if my figures did not. I don't want another Chucky scenario. But yeah, problems I have, I do think that the shoulder pylons do come out a little too high, too low, but whenever you extend them, they're a little too high. There's not really a good way to get that mid-range because it just snaps into those places, so that is a problem. I do wish they had the opening hands. That would be a lot better, that they introduced on the Earthrise Optimus. I would prefer that than just the grabbing, like just normal claw hands. Everything waist up is a brand new like figure, if I'm correct, and then everything waist down is just the Earthrise figure. I think there may actually be a slight retool. I think these are new, but I'm not sure. Other than that, he transforms the exact same as Earthrise Optimus from the waist down. So that way I don't forget to do it, let's do the size comparisons with the same characters from earlier. So drag strip. Blaster. And Core Class Starscream. Or Starscream / Skywarp, they're the same height. Let's get him with the other leader class, actually. Galvatron, which I said something about Hot Rod, which kind of also applies to this figure as well. But we'll get into that review later. So, Optimus Prime, although I don't use any of his weapons for this mode, I think just having him standing here like this is pretty good. I really like this pose. I think it really captures a lot of Optimus Prime. Like if you want to, you can add a little bit of a waist swivel, but I like it just straight. I think it's great. Could be the next Dr. Seuss with that rhyme. So, to talk about posability, I guess I almost went straight into transformation. He has a ball joint at the head, which has a small bit of side-to-side movement. Out of the box, actually, I tried twisting it, and it just instantly came off. I put it back on, twisted it, instantly came off. But then the third time that I put it on, it actually stayed. So it's still stayed. I can, take it off. It's pretty easy to take off, but it doesn't want to come off whenever I swivel it. So that's good. Speaking of, he does have a swivel. He can't look up and down a lot. He's very hindered. Basically just a mushroom peg, except it's actually a ball joint. However, you can use this panel that his head is on to get some up and down, which if you do it subtly, if you do it completely, it looks weird, but if you do it subtly, it can work. His arms can move out that far, and they can move back this far. These pylons do move and all that. this flap folds up so that way you can move the arm forward, which I think it can, yeah, it can go one more. He has a shoulder swivel, which is used for the transformation, but I do have a problem with it. Like, it likes to come off pretty easily. His elbow can bend, and he has a ball joint at the hand, which means that it can swivel. He has a waist swivel, full 360. His legs can move out that far and back that far, which is really, really good. His legs can spread completely, which is really great. He has a thigh swivel, and he has a knee bend. He has an ankle pivot, which goes out that far. Thought it went out more, but I'm guessing I'm wrong. And then a toe bend here, and a heel like spur, I guess, right there. I really like whenever they have these, because I actually will, like, if I'm trying to get him to run, like, I'll use the heel spur as kind of like extra support. So I think it's pretty fun. So, to get him into his transform mode, I already showed you how to transform this into its base and then back. It does have this fold thing, which actually does fold out again for a claw, but I forgot to mention that. So to transform him, what I like to start by doing is I like to take the backpack, fold it back, then take the head, fold it back. Next, take the torso section, not from the top, but from the actual gray and blue section, which I have a problem with this. It does not like staying put, like, in its area. I wish it was pinned, but if you do, you want to put your thumb on the back here, and then also your finger to force it down. Next, we want to hinge this whole area back, and then get the arms kind of out of the way so they fold out on these panels. All that, so that works. I then move these panels down right here. Then you twist the waist 180. I then tab the legs in for stability and fold up these panels right here, which they still have not gotten rid of the hole right there. You can save this piece for last if you want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You can fold the toe and heel down like so. That's basically the legs until later. So now you can lift these sections up, which you could have a while ago as well. Make sure that these panels are up as well. I forgot to say that. And bring them together and tab them together, like so. actually, you don't want to do that yet, because you still need to lift this section and fold it completely in. Rotate this area down so that it comes out there. And then you can tap these polygons together. Finally, or why do I keep saying finally in the middle of the transformation? I want to take the hands and bring them out, fold the fist up, and then fold these back together, like so. Same thing on the other side, like so. Next, you'll want to take the panels that the arms are on. May need to slightly stress, but you can then get them in there. You can then fold this area up. Then you want to twist the bicep swivel 180, and same thing on the other side. And bring, if the legs are completely straight, this is what it should look like. You want to bring this area down, and then hold everything together and bring down the legs. So it's now like this. You can then take these panels, fold them down. There's a tab right here, a hole right here that you can then tab them into. And I like this. You get to fold these sections down, and then there's these slots right here that the panels that are included from the Earthrise tab into, which I like. It adds a slight bit more stability. It's not great, but there you go. You can then fold the cab down, these panels up, and then take the gas canisters from the bottom, which this is also what the Earthrise did, and fold them out. And there you have his truck. Now, first let's talk about the truck alone. I really like this truck. I was born around the time, or a year before, the movie came out, so I'm kind of used to the flames, but I really like this truck. I like the black and red color scheme rather than the blue and red color scheme. There's still some blue on here, but I really like black and red. Black and red are like two of my favorite combined colors. Like, I think they work really great together, but purple's still my favorite color. So then, since I really like this, I also really like the design of the, was it the Nemesis Prime from RID 2001, I think. I really want to get that later. I feel like that would be cool. So he has his grill and the flames. He has no Autobot symbol on this side, but he does on this side. And everything else, everything is basically like pretty well handled. To me personally though, it does kind of like seem weird that it's all blocky up here and then just flat right here. But that is how they had to do it in order to get this to work. So you'll fold down the claw arm section, and there will be a tab right here that you can tab into the hole here. It's a pretty loose fit on all copies of this that I've handled. It has been like this, but it does fit, and he can still use it. So you can get like some pretty cool like truck scenes if you're doing stop motion with this as well. I really like it. I also like that you don't see any of the inside areas like that. It's all covered up. Sure, there's these holes, but that is fine with me. If that's all that there is, it's perfectly fine. So, that has been my look at Legacy Leader, I think, Optimus Prime. Please come back for my next review, which may be either a deluxe. I'm playing this by ear, whichever one I randomly feel like doing. So, that's how it will be. Thank you.